Welcome to today's meditation time. I would encourage you to find a spot in your home, wherever you are as you're listening, just to kind of separate from the busyness, from the noise, from all the stuff, and just find a place where you can become still and quiet in your physical self. And then eventually we'll become quiet in our mind and our heart as well. So I invite you just to get comfortable wherever you are, whether that is seated or lying down. It does not make a difference. You do what feels right for you. And as you get into that spot, work out any little kinks or restlessness that you need to work out. And then gently, let's just close our eyes together. I am honored that you are spending just a few minutes with me, allowing me to share my meditation practice with you and to walk this journey with you as well. And so let's start with a few long, slow, deep breaths in. So either sit a little taller where you are or lie down a little more comfortably and take a long, slow, deep breath in, drawing it in as much as you can, and then exhale, gently let it go. And another long, slow, deep breath in, just drawing it in as much as you can. And then exhale, release it out. One more like that, long, slow breath in. And exhale, release it out. And then I would encourage you to continue with the rhythm of breath that feels good for you. Use the breath as the anchor. I'll guide us for the first part, and then we'll grow quiet together. And inevitably, when it gets quiet, the mind starts to wander, so you just commit to come back to the rhythm of your breath. One slow breath in, one full breath out. And as you remain where you are, either lying down or seated, I want you to picture what you see when you hear the word now. It probably sounds a little like the alarm that went off when it said it was time for meditation, or that reminder, or whatever it was that brought you to this moment. And oftentimes, especially in our culture, when you hear the word now, we feel just a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of urgency in our chest, like there's a rush to do something because it has to be now. But I'd like for us in these few minutes that we have to kind of shift how we define the word now. And I know that you are where you are with your eyes closed, but I want to describe to you this clock that was given to me as a gift several years ago. It's a clock face with all the 12 numbers and a clock dial in the middle, but the hands, the minute hand and the second hand, are both broken. They're laying down at the bottom of this clock, and you can't tell what time it is. And right in the middle of the clock are three little letters, N-O-W. Now, I remember whenever I got this gift, I thought, well, that's clever. This idea of not worrying about time and just doing things now. And for my personality, that really spoke to me. Always efficient and just in the moment, doing whatever needs to be done. But over the years, since I've had that gift that was given, I've really begun to shift how I define the word now. And so I want you just to think for a second on your own. If I were to tell you it's time for meditation now, what do you feel? What do you see when you hear that statement? Do you feel this urgency? Do you feel this flutter inside of you? Do you feel this expectation of a tick, tick, tick on the clock of something that you must attend to? So just think, what does now look like for you? And then I'd like to share with you a different way of looking at it. Eckhart Tolle has become kind of a leading expert in this word now. And what he tells us is you should realize deeply that this present moment is all we've got. Make the now of this moment the primary focus of your life. So just think about that again. Realize deeply that this present moment is all we've got. Let's make the now of this moment the primary focus of our life. And then he goes on to say, this one's a really hard one for me, and I want you just to listen and see if you kind of grapple with it the same way that I have. He says, time isn't precious at all, because time is just an illusion we've created. What you perceive as precious is not time, but it's that one point that's actually out of time. It's the now, and that is precious indeed. The more we focus on time, this idea of the past or this idea of the future, the more we're going to miss the now. And we'll realize it really is the precious thing we were looking for. And so what I'd like for us to do for these next few minutes is just kind of explore that idea of the now. Y'all, the past is done. We can't go back and control it or fix it or change it. Not even the past that was 5 minutes ago, and surely not the past that was 5 years ago. And the future hasn't even happened yet. There are minutes and hours and days that haven't even begun to be manifested, but we already worry about them. How about if we hang on to the preciousness of the now? Think of it as one breath in and one breath out, and how precious that is to our existence. Think of now as one heartbeat. Think of now as having that important person in your life just looking over their shoulder at you in that split second of the now. Those are the precious moments. But oftentimes we miss them because the past has us paralyzed and the future has us wrought with worry. So before we can really begin to hang on to the preciousness that the now, the present moment is, let's work a little bit to let go of the other two. It does not make us irresponsible. It doesn't mean that we're not taking care of things that we need to take care of. It just means that they're not going to cause us to miss the now. And so I want to take us just through a couple affirmations to try to separate from this illusion of how we think the past and the future are really within our grip. So from wherever you are, just seated or lying down, I would invite you to turn your palms upside down. And just think about your left hand and let it represent the past. And your right hand, let it represent the future. And as your hands are either seated right there on your lap or they're lying on the ground next to you, wherever you are, notice how you're right in the middle of them. You're right between the past that is done and the future that hasn't come yet. So I would invite you just to squeeze your two palms. You don't have to squeeze them tight, but just squeeze them closed. Wrap your thumbs around your fingers, around your knuckles. And again, just imagine the left hand, the left fist represents what's already done. And the right fist represents what hasn't even come to be yet. And here we are, right in the middle. And we have the control to release them both. So you could just continue to close the fists, squeezing them in a way that's not too uncomfortable, but that you can notice that the hands are closed. And let's take a long, full breath in. And then as soon as you are ready to exhale, I want you to open your mouth, let it go, and open up both of your hands. And notice how light the palms have become. The grip, the clenched fist is gone. The tension of squeezed knuckles has stopped. And still here we are, right in between, in the now. I also know that sometimes for some of us, the now is a little daunting itself. There's a lot of things we have to process and we have to deal with and we have to confront and we have to navigate. Some of those are just part of life. Some of those are unknown. Some of those are a little scary. But as sure as the breath and the heartbeat are represented here in the now, realize that no matter how scary it may seem, it is precious. It is as precious as the breath going into your body and as precious as the heart that is beating in your chest. There's another quote by Eckhart Tolle that I want us to use to lead us into our quiet time to realize how incredibly precious this moment is. He says, "What a caterpillar calls the end of the world, we call a butterfly." So just think about it. Something has ended, something is done, and here is the now, the emergence. What a caterpillar calls the end of the world, we call a butterfly. So let's just continue to be where we are, breathing in nice and slow, long, deep breaths, trying to do our very best to stay in the now. If your mind starts to wander and take you back to something that's already come, or it already takes you to tomorrow and makes you worry, close your fist again in our quiet time. And then on your breath out, release them and remind yourself, the past is done and the future hasn't even come yet. And here I am in this preciousness of the now. So let's just sit together or lie together here in the quiet, just kind of basking in how amazing this present moment is. Just let the sound of the singing bowl bring you back to the space that we're sharing together. Just notice how your heartbeat feels. Notice how your breath feels. And then I would encourage you for these last just a couple minutes that we have together, if it feels right, just to open up your eyes and look at my little clock. The 12 numbers are all there, and the hands are falling down below. And in the center sits the word now. Realizing that time, it's just an illusion. We perceive that we have control of this thing called time, but what we really have is right here and now. So as we begin to think about closing up our time and heading into this new day tomorrow, this new week, this new whatever your path has, remember these two hands. Let the left represent the past that was 5 minutes ago, the past that was yesterday. Let the right represent the future. And if you need a reminder to remain present and realize the preciousness of this moment, just close those hands up. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let them go. Feel the lightness of existing right between. And that's when you'll remind yourself of the preciousness of the now. And remember, what a caterpillar calls the end of the world, we call it a butterfly. Namaste.